While they were looking intently at the sky as he was going, suddenly 2 men dressed in white garments stood beside them. They said, "Men of Galilee, why are you standing there looking at the sky?"
Welcome to Ostracon, a podcast that translates fragments into the whole from which they came.
In the ascension narratives at the end of the Gospels, Christ gives the apostles a commission to carry the gospel to the ends of the earth. First, let's review the commission that he gives. Then, let's ask what it means. Each of the Gospels includes some version of the commission. At the end of Matthew, it's called the commissioning of the disciples, and it reads like this. The 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain to which Jesus had ordered them. When they saw him, they worshipped, but they doubted. Then Jesus approached and said to them, "All power in heaven and on earth has been given to me." And here's the line, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you, and behold, I am with you always until the end of the age." In Mark's Gospel, it reads like this. You may be familiar that Mark's Gospel has a longer ending and a shorter ending appearing in different manuscripts. In the longer ending, it's called the commissioning of the 11. Later, as the 11 were at table, he appeared to them and rebuked them for their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they had not believed those who saw him after he had been raised. He said to them, "Go into the whole world and proclaim the gospel to every creature." In the shorter ending, it says, "Afterwards, Jesus himself through them sent forth from east to west the sacred and imperishable proclamation of eternal salvation." The Gospel of John, being different from the Synoptic Gospels for a number of reasons, does not include an express ascension narrative, but it does include this interesting passage when Mary Magdalene finds the empty tomb. She's afraid that someone has stolen Christ's body, sees someone who she thinks is the gardener but turns out to be Christ. And when she recognizes him, she embraces him. And he says, "Stop holding on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father, to my God and to your God." And then Mary Magdalene becomes the apostle to the apostles when she, quote, "went and announced to the disciples, I have seen the Lord," and what he told her. One way of many that you could read the "stop holding on to me" means, don't keep me to yourself, but rather give me away, which is exactly what she does next when she goes to share the news of the resurrection. Luke's Gospel, as you probably know, is in a pair with the book of Acts. And so the Gospel itself mentions the ascension but doesn't go into great detail. It's described more fully in the book of Acts. The book of Acts begins with the ascension and then goes on to describe what the apostles did in the early church. That narrative goes like this. When they had gathered together, they asked him, "Lord, are you at this time going to restore the kingdom to Israel?" He answered them, "It is not for you to know the times or seasons that the Father has established by his own authority. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, throughout Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." And then it includes this detail after he ascends. While they were looking intently at the sky as he was going, suddenly 2 men dressed in white garments stood beside them. They said, "Men of Galilee, why are you standing there looking at the sky?" Then they go on, "This Jesus who has been taken up from you into heaven will return the same way as you have seen him going into heaven." What does this mean? Well, the commission is clear: to go to the ends of the earth with the truth. There's no exception. And I love the question put to the apostles, why are you staring at the sky? It's one of my favorite lines in the entirety of the gospel, because it just very simply conveys, there's work to be done here. Go get about your work. Why are you standing around? And maybe stated differently, don't try to hold on to this moment or to keep it for yourself. Go give it away. Stop holding on to me. So I ask the question, could it be that this commission is not only a geographical one, but it is a psychological one, a spiritual one, a philosophical one? That the duty is to take the gospel not just to the ends of the physical earth, but into all the intellectual, emotional, and other places where it is not. That we are commissioned to go to all these places. What would that mean? Many of us may find it difficult to talk to those whom we disagree with. And certainly it's a byproduct of contemporary society that many of us are isolated in groups that share our own ideas. But this would mean that those who think differently than us are exactly the ones to whom we must speak. What's more, evangelization is a matter of relationship. It's not a matter of just saying something. Lots of people tell me things all the time that I don't believe. Even people who are trained evangelists of one sort or another tell me things that I reject because I have no reason to believe them, I have no relationship with them, or because they don't reflect something I already believe to be true. If someone is wholly bought into the world or into the idol of the self, it is very unlikely that someone handing out a pamphlet or holding a sign or talking on a street corner is going to change their mind. That happens in relationships of trust. When someone can say, "You're a reasonable and compassionate person who I know, and you believe this. I wonder why." I once heard someone describe it as, we must get out into the world doing good things for the privilege that at one point somebody might ask, "Explain to me how this relates to your faith." And so if evangelization is a matter of relationship, then it is not just that we must talk to those who think differently. It means that we must have relationships with those who think differently. All of us cannot just talk to ourselves. We are called to go to the ends of the earth in every sense. And I'll go one step further. If this is real relationship, then it is always respectful. It respects the dignity of the person. It is carried out with charity and love. It is based on first principles, and it is not held along some worldly or political divide. So it must be a real relationship, not just something that you do to someone else in order to feel better about yourself. It means not just that we must talk to those who think differently, not just that we must be in relationship with those who think differently, but we must love those who think differently. And the good news is relationship is always possible. Because if all people are made in the image of God, then we are more alike than we are different. We all share experiences of love. We all share experiences of the true, the good, and the beautiful, though we may have come to them in different and surprising ways. There is always common ground. Focus on making real and good relationships, and the rest will follow. Do you doubt that you can do it? Do you doubt that it will matter? So did the apostles. They are again and again rebuked in exactly these passages for their doubt. And certainly it is a phenomenon among teachers that the teachers learn as much or more from the students as the students from the teachers. Sometimes it happens that exactly at the moment when we are least comfortable, when we are no longer surrounded by those who agree with us, that we must think more critically about why we believe what we do. We must work harder to articulate it effectively, and that means articulating it to ourselves as well as to others. There may be reasons to be wary of a comfortable faith that has never been tested, and so has never really dug to find its own foundations. Is it built on rock or on sand? And certainly Peter himself says, we must all be prepared at all times to give the reason for our hope. But, he adds, give that reason with reverence and gentleness. This could include reverence for one who thinks differently, but may have encountered God in ways that you would not have imagined. Concerning this endeavor, Ostracon, it's my hope that if you have faith, that this will help to find and fill new places in your heart, and that it might enable new conversations, new relationships. If you're listening to this and you do not have faith, then it's my hope that this endeavor can help to clarify the experience of faith and its rationality and its beauty, and that it may help to form relationships that could lead somewhere and could cause you to ask more questions.